Hey guys, Ashley Daniels here for the reunion part 2 of the Real Housewives of New York. We are breaking it all down for you. Tune in.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, I suggested this song today because somebody tweeted me because we were having issues trying to find songs, and I think it was the day that we had that super duper musical one, but it was just the three of us, and it was kind of annoying. And somebody tweeted me and said there's a Taylor Swift song about New York.
Oh,
I like it.
Ashley,
I love the people who tweet us.
I do too. Ashley, you know what your voice reminds me of?
Who? Dorinda.
No, Phoebe from Friends when she's got the sexy voice.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yes.
When she sings Smelly Cat
Smelly
real sexy.
cat, smelly cat, what are they feeding you?
Dead ringer.
Oh my
God. Smelly cat. Well, you know what? I take that as a huge compliment because Phoebe is an amazing human being, also known as Michelle from Romy Michelle, who's also my... Okay,
And
what are we
Valerie
talking about?
Cherish.
Yeah, I'm on a lot of codeine. I have a bad cough, and so yeah. I have no excuse. I'm always losing it anyway. But hey, guys, Ashley Daniels here. Megan and I were just saying 2 seconds ago we were so excited because tonight, we can go home happy because this, delivered. But you can tweet me at Ashley Daniels. To my right, starting with Megan Stecher.
Hey guys, it's Megan Stecher, and I'm not sick yet, but I feel like I'm getting there. Tweet me your home remedies.
Sorry. Hey guys, this is Lyndsey here. I've been sick for over a month, so we're just going to keep the sickness growing in this room. You guys can tweet me at Lyndsey Wegner. If you know something about being sick for this long, please tell me what I need to do to get better.
Oh my God.
Fern Ronay here. You can tweet me at Fern Ronay, and believe it or not, I'm sick too. I missed Jersey on Monday night. I had no energy to blow out my hair, so curly Fernie in the house.
Oh my God. Well, we are
Gorgeous.
all sick tonight. That's just fabulous. I've tried to give us a little behind the scenes because one of our listeners asked if we could give a behind the scenes Snapchat, so I just
fun.
tried to give one. But anyway, so tonight was insane, so crazy, and I was just blown away overall by how Bethenny was really the cause of so many arguments tonight. I mean, really, if Bethenny wasn't there, who would anybody fight with tonight?
Maybe a little bit of Sonja and LuAnn, but that's only at the end of this episode.
Good point.
Yeah, really good point.
I think the Tom triangle between the three ladies would kind of be the only thing Andy could stir up if Bethenny was in the middle of everything else. Wow. Good point.
Yeah. I need to grab a tissue. I'm so sorry. Can we just focus on these two over here for 1 second?
So let's talk about Bethenny and the fact that she was sick in the beginning. We kind of saw some of that. And she was going out on dates, and Brynn wanted to meet Grandma. Mm-hmm. That was a big thing, and very upsetting to Bethenny.
Mm-hmm. I remember reading about it.
And it sounds like they haven't met. She hasn't met her yet, so this is in the talks that this is going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess since she's had this estrangement from her for 15 years, she said she hadn't talked to her in 15 years, this is a really, really big deal. But Bethenny is definitely the pot stirrer fighter this whole episode, in my opinion. And we also saw her crying over her apartment.
Mm-hmm. That was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Was it? So it wasn't for the show.
Right. So I think that she had that assistant, that poor girl that they label assistant/stylist, who's like her head assistant. Right. I think that poor girl was following her around.
But why? Why
she did say
that?
I know. It's so weird. I wonder if she was like, she now does TV production stuff. Like, she owns a TV production company that she is the head of. So I think she, in her mind, is producing everything and knows what good TV is, and which may be why she's like so particularly horrible this season. I'm not sure. But maybe she was like, this will be good footage if they want to use it. Just tape me so I'll have it. Who knows? But how that was I'm so happy they used that. Like, how raw
I'm glad to see it.
and
I was just
crazy was that?
Yeah.
Like, she was like throwing herself down on what's left of the furniture. Like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah, it was like the memory. It was a combination of, there was just memories. It was the end of her marriage. It was the first place she ever purchased, and it was just so much all at once. Plus, she's so emotional. It kind of reminded me of the days where we used to watch Bethenny Ever After, and every scene she was crying.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, we don't see her cry a lot now. She's so different now. She's kind of like the mean girl, I guess, if anybody is the mean girl on there, and like just seeing her cry, it makes her more human to me, and I'm like, okay. You know, there is that part of her that's not that tough, rough exterior that she puts on. And I think this was kind of that moment.
She seems like one or the other, though. She's either super emotional about her stuff going on with her, or she's being really hard on everyone else. And she was very unforgiving tonight in that, like, well, I'm allowed to have my opinion. It was like she was having no sympathy for Jules. I don't know if it's that she finds Jules to be a disingenuine person. Like, she thinks Jules is full of shit, and that's why she's giving her a hard time, because Bethenny is convinced that Jules knew she was going on that show to get divorced. The weird thing is, Bethenny won't stop claiming on her radio show that she's the one that got Jules cast on the show, not Dorinda. And she's like, you're welcome, I also got Aviva cast. It's like, well, first of all,
thanks for
Andy
that.
needs
I'd like to forget that.
She was like, you're welcome. But it's like, well, you're the one who got her cast, so you only have yourself to blame. And the girl had nothing to bring to the camera, so they made her do silly stunt stuff. Like, really, Bethenny, like, you know that's what goes down.
By the way, what's wrong with knowing that your marriage is going to end and trying to make something of yourself at the last moment so that you take something negative and turn it into something positive? I know that would be very much something that I would do if my marriage was about to end and I had 2 kids and I didn't really have a lot of money and I was used to having a certain lifestyle. I would make the best of it before it ended.
And so would Bethenny.
And
if Bethenny was in the same
And
situation and was just
take the
starting Skinny
opportunity.
Girl, she would totally do that.
By the way, she did that for her company. She went. I don't think she went on the show to be a housewife. She wasn't a housewife at the time.
Exactly.
It was all for her business.
Is my hair crazy right now?
No,
Okay,
that's
great.
good.
All right, sorry. That's all I need is something to go back and I got like a giant, piece of hair float like
Speaking
the
of
alfalfa.
crazy hair, have you guys seen Bethenny's new haircut?
No. Wait, haircut again?
It looks like a helmet.
Oh, the really short one?
Yes. She has bangs that are like severely blunt across the forehead, and the haircut's way, 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 way shorter. And she doesn't style it every day, so it looks kind of crazy.
I'm so fascinated by this guy that she's with just because he sounds like I just have a sense of him that he must be a really nice guy because usually opposites attract and he's got to be kind of quiet and shy. But also the daughter seemed really sweet. It seemed like they're a close-knit family from the 2 seconds we got on the phone. I just felt like he comes from a good place and I wonder it's interesting that he was amused by LuAnn and her situation in the Berkshires when she yelled at LuAnn, because Bethenny said that he was amused by it. He thought it was funny.
Right. Maybe she wasn't being honest. Maybe he wasn't honest with her. I don't know.
Or maybe he just loves her exactly as she is and wouldn't care.
And knows that that's who she is, and you accept the good and the bad. And it doesn't mean that he likes it, but it doesn't mean that that's going to be something that breaks them up.
Right, exactly.
Those things aren't going to matter at the end of the day when you love someone the same way that LuAnn doesn't care that Tom cheats on her.
Here's the thing. If Bethenny's willing to do that, I mean, it's just like, well, who's to say if they get married, she won't do that to his daughter 5-10 years down the road at some point.
Right.
That's the thing. When you're so blindly in love with somebody, he probably thinks this is like a silly woman fight. And Bethenny was just telling her everything everyone thought. But that's Bethenny. And she could rip him a new asshole like that.
Or she's telling him it's for the show. Like, I had to do that. It's for the show.
But
not really like that.
But anyone who watches her Snapchats knows how all over the place she is. Like I said, I watched 1 day's worth. I had her on my Snapchat for about 2 hours and deleted it because I was like, deleted her on there because I don't need to see that.
I don't know when she ever
obnoxious.
put
She's
my phone
manic.
down.
I've only done that with one celebrity. I've deleted them.
Who was it?
I know.
Paris Hilton. It's just every day it's the same Snapchat. It's like, hi, I'm home. Hi, I'm home. It's like this voice, and she's always home, like looking at her dogs and stuff. And it's like, it was cute for the first 10 10 times. And I was like, I can't do it anymore. She has a cool home, and she's a cool girl. I just, some people you just can't, I don't want to see the same story every day. I don't know what we're talking about. Yeah, so you know what this gave me was seeing Bethenny happy again made me realize that even when we think that it's the end of something, like we're with somebody and maybe, we've been with them for a while, maybe it's something new, no matter what, there is so much more that could happen. Your life can completely change. And to see her, we've watched her go from being with that first Jason and the other guy and then all these boyfriends and then Jason Hoppy and then having Bryn and now with somebody else. And I'm like, wow, like you really don't know what to expect in your future when it comes to love, because you can keep falling in love. So if anything, it's kind of, for me, I like seeing it like that, because I thought maybe there was the end I'm like, oh great, like Bethenny's done. Like, I don't like that. I like seeing that she's going to be happy with somebody, or she is happy with somebody.
I think that's why she was so emotional at her old apartment, because she thought that was her happy ending. I'm rich now, I found the love of my life, I have a baby, and so much more happened after that. I think that that
exactly
brought her back there.
Yeah.
The final piece of letting it go and moving on is that one thing, so it kind of takes you over the edge that one last time. And I'm not saying that she isn't going to be sad about it in the future, but it's all right there, and it's gone.
Lyndsey, you have so much wisdom from Mermaid University.
From Mermaid University.
So she's wearing a cute tank that says Mermaid University, and someone who works here tonight goes, is that a real university? And I was like, oh my God. You went to No, I was kidding. She was just kidding. But
I wore it for William Hayes on the Rams because he believes in mermaids and not dinosaurs.
oh, great.
And so
You
I
rock it.
hosted for Hard Knocks earlier, and I have really cute shoes on. If you guys want to see them, follow me on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you later.
That's a good teaser.
Oh, Lyndsey, you're such a little tease.
I'm full of
They are
wisdom
really
and
cute.
tease.
I saw them before. I was going to tell you.
Okay.
Super cute. Okay.
So, did you
Sonja
guys
Morgan
catch
shoes.
tonight? So, going into the Jules part, which we've been all anticipating, very sad, also disturbing. There, once again, but anytime they talk about throwing up and eating disorders, it's not like the easiest thing to listen to. We all feel for her. Did you hear Dorinda look at her and say, but you've gained weight? And then Jules literally pretended like she didn't hear that. Like, rule 101, you don't tell someone with an eating disorder they've gained weight. You don't ever talk about weight to a person with an eating disorder.
I think she was just trying to back her up.
No, she was,
like,
but
everyone picking on her.
Jules' reaction, if she really was okay with it, but like, yeah, see, I gained weight. She didn't say anything. But we were kind of wondering last week because it seemed like we can't really see her body. Like, she's obviously really skinny. Even if she gained 20 pounds, she's still going to be underweight.
Yeah.
So, but her face looked fuller and more healthy. So we were all wondering. And for Dorinda to say that, I think that validated that it wasn't filler, because I've seen so many people that look like they've gained weight, but their body's the same, and then their face gets bigger, and I'm like, oh, it's probably filler. She looks amazing, by the way.
She was just being honest. I don't think she meant anything by it, and I was proud to see her backing her when Bethenny was just giving it to her. She's like, leave her alone. Stop. Stop. I mean, I think we've all had our fair share of Bethenny this season, and I know a lot of people that comment on YouTube are wondering what we're what mindset we're in because we like Bethenny, and I think we all just kind of understand moments. I'm not a huge Bethenny fan. Sometimes I think what she says is really funny, and but she's very harsh, and that's not a person that I would want in my life or around me, because I'd feel like I would be defending all of my friends to this really, really unhappy person, because anybody that can get that mean and nasty with people, in my opinion, has to be really unhappy with their own life, that they have to pick on somebody else and constantly be giving their opinion. We didn't ask for it.
I think I figured out why people think we're so loyal, though. I think it's because not to say everybody's like this, but I think for us, and correct me if I'm wrong, we've all been watching this since day one, and in a sense, we kind of feel like these girls it's all kind of like the Ramona and Jill Zarin relationship in the past, how they would fight so much, but for some reason, none of us we never got worried that they weren't going to be friends. And I think with Bethenny, it's like we have some sense of loyalty to her. We get her. We feel like we've known her so long or watched her for so long that we practically know her, and we accept the good and we, accept the bad. Maybe we don't agree with the bad, but it's just kind of like at this point, we've watched her for so long. What are we just going to go against Bethenny at this point? Like, it's kind of like, just accept it or don't. But
well, we're also not nasty girls, in my opinion. I know we're not mean girls.
Yeah, no, we're not.
We're honest. And this is what we're here for, to talk about the show and give our honest opinion. But we're not mean girls, so we're not going to be mean the way that Bethenny is. And it's not that we're defending her, but we're just being honest about our opinions and our feelings. I liked her a lot more on her other shows than I do on Housewives. I thought she was more relatable on all the other shows. When I see her here.
You mean Housewives, Housewives, New Housewives, when she came back?
Yeah, when she came back.
Okay.
I felt like when she had, her show with Brynn and Jason, and before that even, that I liked her better there. She was more relatable. Where now I feel like she's just really mean.
I mean, I think she's changed a lot. I think she's become this business mogul. So she's not at all who she used to be, but the Housewives wants to portray her as like same old smart mouth Bethenny. Her life is completely different. I mean, she used to live in that little apartment in season 1 and was like begging her boyfriend to move in with her or move in with him, one or the other. And it's like, now she's a mega mogul who was on the cover of Forbes. Like, her life is nothing the same. And she has changed as a result of it, and I think we see it, and she has no idea. She thinks she's the same, but everyone else views her different. Is what I think.
Well, maybe she's always been the same, but she's more open to showing what she really feels now. I just remember season 1 when she was making those lychee martinis for the first Jason she was dating, and like she wanted to be a housewife, and she like everything was neat, and she was trying to cook dinner and trying to figure out where she should be in life, and we've watched her grow. Even though she started on this older, we've watched her grow and change. And I don't know if any of us, and people who even comment on YouTube, where would you guys be if you started a show, pre-millionaire, pre-mother, pre-wife, pre-ex-wife, pre-fame, and then got to this point? What would you be like? I'm sure you would get a very tough shell. You'd have to. And that's not to excuse the mean comments she makes, though.
Right.
But you can't.
None of us are go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Are the same person we were 8 years, like when she started the show.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone grows, and we've seen her grow. But I am a fan of Bethenny. I don't care what people say. I think she's great for the show. I think before she came back on, it was not as good. She's great for the show. She brings conflict. She's hilarious. She doesn't let anybody get away with anything. Which I love about her. However, and I've said it, there are times when she should keep her mouth shut. You don't always have to point out inconsistencies. You don't always have to point out when someone's wrong, especially someone like Jules. Like, she's going through something serious off the show. There are times when she should shut her mouth. But I love Bethenny. I think she's so great for the show.
See, I think that there are good qualities. It's not like everything about her is bad or anything, but there's good qualities and bad qualities in everybody.
Exactly.
But you also can't let your past and who you are define you in today, because everybody's gone through crap.
Yes,
everybody's had good things and bad things. So the people that sit there and try and kind of play that victim, and it comes up later on in life, and somebody else may have been through something similar, but ends up, flourishing because of it. That's kind of what you have to go by, and just be a good person. That's it. You can always be a better person. There's always room to be a better person, and I always say leave somebody better when they met you.
Do we think that it's okay? So do we think that Jules was contradicting herself when she was standing up for the fact that she does target the other women's ages in her blogs and also in comments, but that it's not okay that they comment about her eating disorder? Because there was a lot of conflict about this. How do you guys feel? Do you think she's contradicting herself?
No, I thought she was right on. Like, it is a joke, and this eating disorder thing is super sensitive. It's something she wanted to share. It's not like up for like joking. The whole thing got really ugly to me. Like, I just felt like I really disliked Bethenny. It was the pinnacle of my dislike of Bethenny during this whole thing, and I just kept feeling like I totally sided with Jules, everything that she said.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I mean, if there's an issue with an age thing, it's so different. It's like joking about somebody that has been abused or raped, and joking about that and trying to make it funny. Or an eating disorder. That's a sensitive subject. It's not funny. Joking about somebody's age.
Exactly.
It's not the same thing. It's totally different. So
it's illness versus old age. You can joke about old age. Unless she has joked about her illness, you don't have license to joke about it. And she hasn't. She hasn't even worked it out completely in her head. I don't think she knows exactly herself. Exactly. She doesn't know herself how she feels about it. She hasn't made jokes about it, so she hasn't given anyone else license to. joking about someone being old, like, they joke about it too.
So, go ahead,
I
Megan.
was going to say, do you guys feel like Bethenny and Carole were in complete denial at this point in the reunion about their mean girl? Like, I was like,
100%.
you guys did talk smack about her.
Yes.
We saw it. Like, what?
Yes, I do. I really think at that point it was they were either going to stick to what they did or they were going to apologize for it. And if they were going to stick to it, they had to do it 100%.
Yeah. Good point.
Do you guys think that that Bethenny was correct that Jules was making fun of Jewish people? She says that asking her nanny to wait in line at the Bon Point sale or whatever, however you say it, was one way that she made fun of being Jewish. Another was the $2,000 potty trainer. Another one was washing her hands in the ice, whatever that was for, washing her hands in the ice.
Remember when she had the shrimp?
Yeah. Because she's
Oh, the shrimp, right?
Yeah.
Which Lyndsey, we all know. Let's not bring it up too long because Lyndsey will have a, it's so not sanitary and just bad. But do we think that, I personally do not think she was making fun of any culture, anything at all. I just think she's just being herself.
I think Bethenny was trying to say she was like a bad representation of a wealthy Jewish woman in New York, because I think maybe Bethenny was trying to say there's a stereotype and you fed into it, is I think what Bethenny was trying to pin on her. I thought it was so freaking rude. So
Of who?
rude.
Of who?
Of Bethenny.
Okay.
Like, Jesus Christ. Like, this is just Jules. This is just who she is. Like, she didn't have a lot of storylines, so they made her do some silly stuff.
Exactly.
And also, that's who she is, and she looked
Exactly.
like, the mikveh thing, like throwing her hands in the ice that was like meant for drinks. Like, of course we talked about it. Of course we thought it was like so silly of her to do, and like, but Bethenny just has the thing where she thinks Jules is really a not smart person. She thinks Jules is really dumb, and she can't stop trying to make Jules feel that way, and it's so rude. Like, well, you know what, Bethenny, you only have yourself to blame because you apparently were so adamant about getting her on this show. So
Yeah.
Of those 3 examples, the only one where she mentioned being Jewish was the ice one. She's like, I have to, right? Because it was
You're
like,
Jewish.
No, I'm
You're not?
Italian,
Oh,
but
your
my husband's
Jewish.
yes.
So do you think he would be, do you think that he
No.
would
Oh my
agree
God.
with Bethenny?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
And so Bethany's the one who's putting the, like, it wasn't like Jules said, I'm such a Jewish mother, I paid $2,000 for a potty trainer. She didn't say that. She
Right.
didn't attach being Jewish to those other examples. Bethany did.
right.
So she's
And
wrong.
Bethany's not Jewish, so it shouldn't matter anyway.
She is Jewish.
She was
She is.
raised Jewish.
Yeah,
Is
she
she
is.
what?
I think
She
her,
is?
I think
she
her
is.
stepfather was. So I think she had a lot of those traditions growing up.
But is
and
she
I think
still
she relates.
practicing then?
I don't think she goes to a
no.
temple
But
or
she
anything.
considers herself
I think
like
she
culturally Jewish.
because I think also the boarding school she went to in high school was like a lot of wealthy Jewish girls. I think that's what I've read somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think that she very much relates to being Jewish and maybe the wealthy Jewish lifestyle and like knowing a lot of people in that circle in New York. And I think she was trying to say, Jules, you're a bad representation of our community.
And she resents it too. She has issues with money because she grew up. Some
Right.
years she was poor, some years she was rich. And
Right.
so then she went to high school with these other girls. So she has some resentment for
Right.
that, and so she's attaching her own thing to that.
Exactly.
What isn't she messed up about? She's messed up about
eating
eating. She's
disorder.
messed up about family and parents. She's messed up about money. It's like she couldn't be messed up about anything else, I don't think. I don't know how she functions. I really don't. It's amazing.
Yeah. I just think she's more honest about how her upbringing was. I think we all could very easily sit here and probably have the same amount of crap that we grew up with. Maybe not as bad, but I could definitely say that my upbringing was no piece of cake, cakewalk, whatever you want to call it. So, but I don't talk about it. So it's at some point you got to say like, okay, like. I don't know. Let's just not talk about it. Like it triggers something in me, but I'm not going to bring it up.
And part of being an adult is whether your childhood was good or bad, it's over. That's a quote.
Exactly.
I didn't come up
It's
with it.
history.
Yeah, and you have to accept it.
And move on. Yep. Do we think? Okay, so we are. Did Dorinda stir the pot? Yes.
Thank you.
Let's see. The comments that Bethenny brought up about the ATM. Jules says her husband something with the ATM. He's like an ATM machine or something like that. I forget the ATM comment, but Bethenny said that. Dorinda says that was a really mean comment. Basically, Dorinda stepped in and started saying that Bethenny and Carole were so mean to Jules about so many things with the house and where it is, and in the ATM comment, and the bagel comment. and all these things. And Jules stepped in too and said, well, how do you know I didn't eat earlier? How do you know I didn't have friends over afterward? I just think it was just tit for tat. At the end of the day, it would have been nice if similar to, well, I don't think anybody apologized for anything they did. If they should, at the end of the day, they should have just taken responsibility, especially Carole. I feel like if Carole did, Bethenny would follow in Carole's footsteps, but the two of them were just like backing each other, and I just felt like that point it was like no one was going to accept responsibility for any of the mean things they said to Jules, so why keep talking about it?
Right. I think Carole and Bethenny have this weird thing where they think that they're both very honest and like above the BS of the show, and that they're both very smart. They think they're the two smartest women. So I think that they carry that attitude with them, and they don't think they're being mean girls. They just think they're being themselves. And so everybody should just accept them being themselves. And that's where I think all this stuff, them seeming like mean girls, which they freaking were being, is coming from. And like when Dorinda was like, I felt like I really had to protect her, and I stand by that. Like, I agree that Dorinda was always trying to protect Jules, and I thought that was, nice of her. Obviously, they have like their alliance. Apparently, it's like teams and alliances all the time. It's like those two had their own alliance, and I thought Jules needed it. Jules was like a sweet little damaged bird.
Yeah.
She was the Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
Brand new. I mean, that's what's going to happen with the new housewife. They're going to kind of be out there unless somebody takes them under their wing. And if it wasn't going to be Ramona or Bethenny, it needs to be, somebody else that's next up on the chain of command. And that's Dorinda, being protective of her.
Yep.
I feel like Dorinda, she's the meddler, but she's loyal. Like, I would want her in my foxhole. I feel like she's very loyal. I get that sense from her, and I feel like she felt... you bring like a new person into a group, and if people, you like sense the energy in the room, if people aren't being nice to the one you brought in, you feel like guilty and you feel bad. And I think that's how Dorinda felt. Like she feels responsible for how Jules is being treated, I think. Because I think they knew each other before, right?
Yeah, I think they did.
Even though Bethenny
John
says
know Michael or something?
Something like that.
Apparently.
I just think I'm surprised seeing Dorinda now, because I feel like Dorinda was a little bit afraid at the beginning to stick up to Bethenny. I think that's one of the main reasons she didn't invite Sonja to the Berkshires, was all because she didn't want Bethenny to feel uncomfortable. And I think she just let go of that whole, like, let's try to please Bethenny thing. And then, if anything, just kind of went on this, like, complete 360 of like, okay, I'm going to go against both of them whenever they're wrong, and I'm going to stick up for Jules. I think Dorinda has a problem sticking up for herself more than she does for other people. Which,
Agreed. I like seeing her better as like the meddler in the second half of the season and leaving John. Like getting rid of John was a good look.
Yes.
Because when she was like, I thought I'd just have a nice breakfast now that I stirred the shit. Like, she knows that she's doing it, but she's doing it in such a weird, gentle way that she's getting away with it, seeming like she really is just trying to bring people together. I thought it was perfect. I can't wait for her to be back next season and do the exact same thing.
Interesting.
I feel like it played out perfectly every time. She was just like, kind of just bouncing between both parties and any sort of a disagreement, and just got away with like, I was just trying to bring everyone together.
That's a really good point.
It worked for me.
Do you think that they all get more comfortable to be crazier second because they're afraid now that they might get kicked off? They need to start, like, it's almost procrastinating on the drama. Like, oh, okay, almost the end of the season, let me start bringing it in. Because I mean, think about it. LuAnn was boring first part of the season. Dorinda was pretty boring. John was the one stirring the pot, stirring everything, creating the drama. Everybody except Bethenny was really uncomfortable. And then all of a sudden, it's like everybody's like, wait, I want to make sure I'm back next season. Let me be a psychopath. Like, what?
Yeah.
Is that
Everyone
weird?
except Sonja, yeah.
Sonja did the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope Sonja comes back next season.
Sonja will be back.
Yeah, how could they not bring Sonja back?
Sonia is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love her.
Drunk Sonia is also amazing. But like sober Sonia, I feel like she's back. And they can't exclude her when she's sober.
She's just so sweet. I mean, with LuAnn at the end, like, she knew that was a false. LuAnn, were you happy for me? And LuAnn's like, yeah, I was happy for you. And she gives her a hug. She just wanted the hug. She just wanted to feel accepted. Truthfully, do any of us believe that LuAnn all of a sudden was like, yeah, I felt bad for you? You just said she was delusional 2 seconds prior to that. But all Sonja wanted to hear was, she just wanted to hear she had peace with LuAnn before the show ended. She just wants peace with everybody. Okay, so do we agree that Carole had no interest in being friends with, with only Bethenny? I think it was Dorinda that mentioned it, that she was just, all she was interested this season in doing was just being with Bethenny.
I think was it Dorinda?
I think Dorinda did mention
Whoever
that.
said it nailed it.
We never saw
Yeah.
you. You were always with
Yes.
Bethenny. It's all you cared about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd have to agree.
Yeah.
Based on what we saw, I agree.
I still am not 100% certain that Heather and Kristen would be like completely okay with the fact that Carole is hanging out with Bethenny all the time. Because Heather is so nice and Kristen is so nice and they were all really close.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wonder how that is.
I wonder how they are now.
Yeah.
Heather's super loyal, so I feel like she'd still be okay with her. But I don't know.
They might not
We
hang out
saw
as
them
much.
at the beginning of a season, didn't we see Heather?
Yeah, she came in at one point.
With Carole.
Yeah.
Right?
It was like ice skating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe they're still like friends.
Isn't it so cool though? I feel like these shows are so interesting in the fact that like I'm sure Carole thinks she's no different than she was last season. She's no different than she was her first season, and it's like we think she's so different because of this friendship with Bethenny, and we think that things that she said and done are probably not what she would do if she was still like allianced with Kristen and Heather. And it's like such an amazing study to watch these women and then be completely unaware of how they're coming across. But we're like, oh no, Carole, you're going to the dark side. Like I just think that's why these shows are so amazing and why we get so sucked in.
Don't they say that you are like the 5 people you spend the most time
Yes.
with?
Yeah.
So I mean, if she's spending the most time with Bethenny, and Bethany's a little bit more confrontational and kind of doesn't mind conflict, then she's going to kind of be a little bit more like that.
And isn't it fun to bandwagon onto someone who's not afraid of the drama? Like if you're just throwing in like what she said every now and then, like that's fun and you're not really a part of it, but you get excited, you're not really taking the heat. Like I could see why Carole kind of likes it.
Yeah, she can just sit back and let Bethenny do the work.
Do we agree with Jules that Dorinda was the peacemaker this season?
Her and Ramona. I'll give Ramona peacemaker too. Kind of.
They both like stirred
Much as
the
I-
pot / were trying to bring everyone together.
In the
but, like,
beginning, in the beginning of the episode, they were complimenting Ramona like she is a good friend, and Ramona didn't say thank you. She was just like, "I'm a caregiver. I take care of people."
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
our Ramona.
Yep, trying to mend friendships. Do you remember when she did that with Jill and Bethenny and she invited Bethenny over and didn't tell Jill and then they had that huge fight and then LuAnn's like, let's go, Jill, let's leave, and like tried to stop that friendship from happening.
Vintage house.
Vintage classic.
Yeah, I'm
Vintage
sorry, go
Housewives.
back. I just love those seasons.
Classic.
That's why I like Jill.
Yeah. There are a lot of Twitters, by the way, that are like all pro Jill coming back to the Housewives. Like it's like Real Housewives of New Jersey Jill fan, Jill Zarin fan 101, like all these like Jill Zarin fan Twitter accounts, and I'm like, wow.
Let's calm down, everyone.
Yeah,
I liked her too, but I don't think she will ever come back.
I mean, I guess everybody gets attached to like their one ride or die housewife, and if they get kicked off, I'm sure you still try to petition. But I don't feel that way about Jill. Sorry.
I don't think Bethenny
it's
would come back
happening for
if
her.
Jill came back.
Well, that's the thing. Even if they thought it was a good idea, like the women who, like Ramona and Bethenny, would never be like, oh yeah, we'll have Jill back. Like it just wouldn't happen.
No. Dorinda regrets meddling, and in the future she's going to try to be a problem solver instead. I don't believe her.
I don't see this happening.
But I think it's nice that she brought up the Maya Angelou comment and quote, and she's a good heart, but she needed to be entertaining at the end of the day. She felt like she had to stand up for Jules this season. Sonja, Ramona, and the Tom stuff. This is a big thing.
Yes, let's get into this.
Let's get into this. So Sonja says, LuAnn, you were gloating about Tom. I know we already discussed this, but do you guys think that she was gloating on the boat, and do you think that she's still gloating about her relationship with Tom? I do.
Yes, boating and gloating, yeah.
But after seeing herself, you would think she would tone it down a bit.
I mean, the delusion is so insane. So I feel like she is just keeping up appearances at this point. Like she really can't possibly be that delusional without being an insane person. So she's just trying to keep up appearances for our sake, for everyone not thinking she's crazy. But we all know she's nuts for hiding this stuff or denying it.
She's aware of all of this stuff, and she's just playing the same role that she's played the entire season, where she's like, oh, Ramona and him didn't date, Sonja and him weren't friends with benefits. She's just playing it off because she's believing the lies in her head that it's now become a part of her life, that she truly believes it exists and it's real. And she's believing the lies he's telling and that she's telling, and man, I was going through that just a few weeks ago, and it is crazy.
But you weren't believing it, were you?
No, I stepped out. I have walked away, toxic, gone, moving on, little girl. I'm moving on, girl.
That's my girl.
Because when you see it finally from the outside and you're not in it, that
You
light
were the
bulb,
LuAnn?
No. Well,
A friend was.
no. God, I believed all this stuff, and then I got on the outside, and now I'm watching that person do it to somebody else, and I'm like, whoa. But I always knew in the back of my head, something's not right here, and this person is just completely being duped. And you know what? Tried to help. There's no helping some people.
You were kind of the Ramona.
I was kind of the Ramona.
Because you were no longer with the guy, and you were trying to throw red flags up for the girl.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
But it doesn't work if you're the Sonja either, because Sonja just was trying to be honest, but not really tell LuAnn not to be with them. And that didn't work either. It's so I think with LuAnn, as long as you keep your mouth shut, you're fine. And that's basically what she said. Even if you see him, in the street with another woman, don't let me know, basically, is what she's saying.
How is this possible?
Of course it's possible. Think about, she had an open marriage, or he was cheating, basically, and she was not having an open marriage, but she was, knowing that he was cheating.
Right.
Unless she was also involved in things, which I don't think she was. If you did it once, I mean, I'm sure at this point anything's better than that.
Carole said she doesn't put a premium, LuAnn doesn't put a premium on fidelity, so she doesn't care. As long as she gets married, gets his money, if he even has any, but gets money from Bravo for a wedding. That's all she cares about.
But here's the thing. Sonja really is her friend. So if this is your I get it if it's some random person coming to you. And I would still say Ramona and LuAnn are friends. If it's some random person coming to you saying this stuff, I can see you being like, you know what, I'm not going to believe you. Even if there's truth in what the person is saying. But when your friend is coming and going, be careful. Look, I'm just pointing this out. I'm scared for you. Listen to what we're saying. I went on 5 dates. I'm giving you the places we went to. And he's telling you went on one. And he's telling her that said that Sonja and him only hooked up one time. And Sonja's going, this has happened for years. Listen and really pay attention. I get that you want to be blissfully happy and doth protest too much and all this stuff. Just listen. Your gut's telling you something, and you're shutting it down.
Yeah.
Well, she's contradicting herself in so many ways. I mean, one being that Ramona brings out 2 pieces of evidence. One was the heart on the hand. Now, I think actually LuAnn handled that really well, because LuAnn was like, well, you're a really good-looking woman, so we drew a heart. I mean, really, at the end of the day, if you drew a heart, that's really nothing. It could be so little. They were friends for years, and he drew a heart. I mean, we saw him in season 1. She's known him for a while. Whatever. But the whole the article, and the fact that she brought that out, and then she says to LuAnn, you're the one who asked me who planted the article. So clearly LuAnn knew about the article, knew about this fling between Tom and Ramona, knew something about it. So to act so oblivious when all this is coming out. Also the fact, I think it was Carole that brought it up, correct me if I'm wrong, when she says to her, LuAnn, didn't you feel the need at all to, when you were going home at night to the home that you were staying at Sonja's house, to say, Sonja, what's the deal? Tell me your side of the story. I want to know.
Exactly. Oh my God.
Fern's going to blow up. Tell me, Fern.
I was freaking out when Carole said that, because that's exactly what I've wanted to know the entire season. It didn't come up on your date with Tom that you're living with a girl named Sonja. Sonja who? Oh, I dated her. And then you go home. Do you know Tom? I'm on those 2 conversations never happened.
No,
I don't believe it.
I just can't. I mean, obviously LuAnn was hiding it, which she kind of confessed to. I mean, she knew she was doing Sonja dirty, and did it anyway. Yeah.
The fact that Tom spoke to her at, what was it called, Boutique or something? That he recently saw Sonja and said, do you want to get in the middle of LuAnn and you and my friendship? Well, then just stick to it being one time type of thing. I don't know how he worded it. And then basically saying, if you want to be our friend, you want to come to the wedding, it was one time. And also, wasn't there a phone call to Dorinda? From Tom and from LuAnn, asking her to kind of agree with certain things? So the fact that Dorinda's even anything pro Tom and LuAnn is crazy to me.
This is all just lies.
Yeah, and the fact that Ramona keeps calling it like red flags, it's like, no, LuAnn and Tom are in on this together.
Yeah.
Right.
Calling and threatening people. Like, this is no longer like red flags. You're denying yourself the truth. Like,
She knows the truth. And
Dorinda's not doing it because Dorinda has John, and she wants people to be easier on her with John if anything else happens in the future with John. That's what I think.
Agreed.
You know, she feels pain of what it felt like.
But she's also kind of the guilty party for setting the two of them up. So she's
Oh,
kind of trying to like tiptoe away from the situation. Like,
Excuse me.
what? I didn't really know him. He's John's friend. Like,
Yeah, it's like now you're like responsible for what's happening. You know, you want to take the credit, but you don't want to take it when it's like this.
Remember LuAnn yelled at her right after Bethenny? She's like, well, you're the one that set me up with him.
I just don't understand. I can't comprehend how Dorinda even set them up. When Dorinda's been friends with Ramona for like how many years? 25 years or something? You think there was no conversations at any point between Dorinda and Ramona where like, oh, I'm sleeping with this guy or this guy? Well, I don't know. I would know so many stories about my friend that I've known for 20-something years. And especially such a small circle of friends.
It's so weird.
Exactly.
Well, and her wanting to wait until her and Tom were serious before she told the girls. You don't do that with your friends.
Weird. I want to keep it under the
I
radar.
literally sent,
Why?
I sent screenshots of things to my girlfriends for a guy
Yeah.
I just met and be like, what do you guys think
No.
of this text message?
No, you do that with your parents. You hide things from your parents
Right.
until it's serious, not your friends.
Right.
Your
Yeah.
friends, you're like, oh my God, he said this. What does it mean?
Exactly.
Exactly.
LuAnn, was really heartless about Sonja saying she was delusional when she was watching her kind of mourning this love. Sonja was so sweet throughout that whole time on that episode, very respectful. It's so telling to hear LuAnn, because I kept thinking, oh, once LuAnn sees this, she's gonna feel so bad for Sonja. I couldn't believe it. Did you guys get surprised at all that you saw her reaction was like she was delusional? Oh, she's mourning. Oh God.
No, because she's kept it up. Not really surprised. I was surprised when Andy pressed her that she said it was really only 5 times that they slept together over the 5 years.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, then let's stop with this we were lovers stuff. 'Cause
Exactly.
To me, that's friends with benefits. Only 5 times in 10 years, that's
Right.
that's definitely like a running into someone who's a
You're both single at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Why are you
Exactly.
crying
that's
over
just
it?
a hookup buddy in your
Right.
phone.
You didn't lose a
Why
companion.
are you crying over it?
Yeah,
then?
so-
So that makes sense to me that LuAnn's not wanting to accept this whole.
Right.
This
my
is
lover.
weird. I mean, I don't know. Isn't lovers like what's the can the term really be up for interpretation?
I feel like lovers is almost like you're not allowed to get married or be together, but you're still passionately meeting up. And,
Right. Fling
I
is
don't
5
really know
times
what
in 10
in
years.
these days in America you'd kind of classify as lovers.
See,
Unless
I
you're
think
like adulterous affair.
Tweet us.
Like,
Let us
let's
know.
think about it from Sex and the City.
Okay.
When Carrie was like, I found
Taking
myself
a
a lover.
lover. Yeah.
And it's Alexander Petrovsky. So it's the guy that they haven't decided that they're in a relationship yet, but they're clearly sleeping together multiple times, all the time. He's making her pancakes for breakfast or whatever it is. I would say that's a lover, somebody that you're seeing multiple times.
It's a
in
very
month.
romantic affair.
Yeah, but friends with benefits is just somebody you run into and you're both single, and it's like, oh, well, we're both
Come
single.
home with me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hard part. 5 times. I was shocked. Do you think she just said 5 times because she didn't want to actually say how many times?
Oh, maybe.
Unless it really was just once.
But to say lovers, to
think?
be mourning over something, and then LuAnn saying, "Look, you probably didn't remember." Whoever said she probably didn't remember, as if like she was like intoxicated or whatever. But why would Tom feel the need to call and just say 1 time? So you're telling me that those 4 extra times are that important that you have that conversation with Sonja? It has to be that there's more. It was maybe like they had really intimate conversations. They were like always holding each other, and like there had to have been such a romantic connection that even without the sex, it was very much a connection. There was very much a connection there.
How about the fact that like LuAnn and Tom are calling and threatening the women, and like the only ransom is like you don't get to come to the wedding. I'd be like,
Oh
God.
tacky Evite wedding. Okay, are you gonna wear your lace jumpsuit? Get out of here.
Oh my god, I can't. Carole asks LuAnn why she didn't feel the need to go back and ask Sonja about Tom. We just talked about this, that she was staying with her. We talked about the article that was brought up by Ramona. And then Bethenny's comment, you don't go out with 3 housewives and not love the limelight. Very true. Can't.
true.
I don't think he's worth $50 million. If he is, it's probably like him combined with other people like owning buildings and stuff, that if it was all sold, maybe there's millions, but there's something that's drawing her so much to him that she's just pretending that nothing has been told to her. And
I
that
think
she keeps going
both
with it.
so desperate, but it's like, why? Is he having money problems? Is she having money problems? Do they need the fame for money? Like, something's going on there, because all of us can smell that this is fishy.
Something's weird. His loyalty to her is got to be for fame. The only thing that she has that he needs is fame.
Yeah.
If he has money,
Yeah.
he doesn't. What else does he need from her?
Right.
Unless they're truly in love, which, by the way, that's not off the table. They could very much be unbelievably, insanely in love.
Stranger things have happened.
Right? I mean, there is that chance.
Go wrong and grow old together.
Right.
Fern's so nice.
Let's see. Sonja ran into Tom. Yeah, we already talked about it. Do we
I need
think
a Bravo
LuAnn will?
wedding now.
Okay. The question. I'm going to end this on the question that Andy asked everybody. Do we think that LuAnn will be getting married this year, on New Year's?
I don't know. I think there's going to be a big crescendo up to New Year's, and I don't know if it's going to break down, like if there'll be another like Tom making out with someone sighting and she won't go through with it, or if she definitely will go through with it, but this marriage will be over quickly.
Ooh, that brings up a good point. What
I think
we haven't seen.
Bravo wedding. I think Bravo wedding is coming.
Well, they're kind of, you know how these housewives get, once the show's off the air and it's the next, like it's Real Housewives Beverly Hills is on, and they don't have no one's tweeting them, no one really cares. Let's see what it's like when they're just regular folks for a few months. I don't know, but maybe all this leading up to the wedding is just so exciting that it's still that honeymoon phase. I want to see what they're like, 2 years down the line, like when maybe she's not on the show anymore and it's just them being
I
them.
hope they both get ironclad prenups, because if he just takes the money and runs after a couple months, then
Oh my God.
this is crazy.
Do you guys think they're going to get married?
I agree with Megan. I think that if it does work, it's going to end really quickly. I would say within a year, if they do decide to go through with it. And like you said, Bravo wedding. That's what they want.
Do you think they're going to pay for it? For sure?
They sent out an Evite as the invitation. Like, they're broke. Something's going on.
Wait,
that was the
they're
save the
taping in
date.
December, though. Production's not taping in December.
They could
They
be
would still
taping
just
a
tape
special.
Yeah, they'd just tape a special, or
Like a special, like after the crab special.
because don't they normally?
You guys didn't see the crab?
No.
None of you guys saw the LuAnn special when she talked about having crabs?
yeah.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
But don't they normally start taping like over the holidays or in the fall? They do.
I think so.
Yeah.
They started this season in the fall.
Yeah.
Oh, you think they're going to...
They could be.
I don't think it'll
taping
be
again by then.
I don't think it's going to be on the show. I think it's going to be a LuAnn
special?
and Tom special, a Housewives of New York special with Tom and LuAnn getting hitched.
Here's
But
the
what's so
thing.
interesting
Kim
about
and
that?
Chris-
That they're walking down the aisle?
Can LuAnn?
At this point, they're kind of...
Can LuAnn? Is she a big enough star to carry
No,
her own
to
wedding
no,
special?
To get
No.
Andy to produce it.
No.
I don't know. I
We'll
don't think
see.
so either.
We'll see. Maybe if they pay for their own wedding and the cameras are just there to tape it, maybe it'll be like you'll see it a couple, like LuAnn's solo special. You'll see it a few times and that'll be it.
Andy's not going to give her that. Andy gave it to Bethenny because Andy and Bethenny have a connection. I think Bethenny has a lot more say than we think, and I really don't think that Andy is going to be like, okay, LuAnn, we're going to give LuAnn an entire special, a 1 hour special or something dedicated to her wedding. She's not Bethenny. Who else really, when you think about it, who really is, I mean, Kim Kardashian had a special on E! for her wedding. There's been a couple, like Jessica Simpson and Nick, really power couples. Who has done any specials on Bravo? Do we know wedding specials? They've had like episodes.
Kim and
but-
Croy Bierman. Zolciak Bierman.
Yeah, but her following, isn't it like ridiculous? She has her
She's
own
got a huge-
show, and I mean,
Yeah. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to be like, I think it'll be like a 2 or 3 episode thing.
wow, you think that many? Wow.
On the show.
Not on the show. I
You
think
think
it's
it's
going
gonna
to
be
be
a
separate.
special?
Oh, I thought it would be on
really?
the show.
Oh.
I mean, this is interesting that you think this because I mean,
think-
you might be right.
I feel like it would be so interesting to weave in all the other women and all their gossip and all the drama leading up to it if they taped it for multiple episodes for the show. But I don't.
See, kind of like what they did with Vanderpump Rules and into, what was the Yeah, Vanderpump Rules. Kind of like that, where they kind of got it into the Housewives
got
show.
you.
That Real Housewives
Like a
of-
seamless transition.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they do this lead up to the wedding, and then maybe that first episode is the wedding with all the women there.
That's genius. So like right after the first episode, the second hour
Sign me
is
up.
the
Should be working
wedding.
for
Bravo.
Yeah, you should. Wow, that's great.
Yeah, that would be
I'm sure you'll
good.
steal your
I'm
idea.
tweeting Andy that this is
Sweet
Lyndsey's.
Andy.
All right, Fern, do you think that they're going to get married?
I do, and I think that's a genius idea, and I think there's going to be all of this teasing, like who of the housewives is going to show up uninvited and like try to
Exactly.
ruin it.
I think none of them give a shit about that. Just saying.
All right, let's get in some predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Can't wait to see what Ramona knows about LuAnn and Tom that she's going to reveal.
All right. I predict. I never really do predictions, but I happen to do some tonight. I believe LuAnn's gonna have a breakdown on the set.
Yes.
Ramona knows something about Tom. I'm sure it's not gonna be anything important because she would have already brought it up. And it's gonna be a lot of fighting between Bethenny and Dorinda and Bethenny and LuAnn, I think.
I think we're gonna relive a montage of Bethenny dropping the bomb on LuAnn about Tom, and I think that's why she's crying. And I think, well, I don't know if Ramona knows anything. I think it might be a tease.
I know, I'm worried it's a tease and there's really nothing there, although I wish it was something. And then this could be the final, like, okay, we're breaking up, it's not happening. I kind of hope that happens.
Ooh, you should be a producer.
Seriously.
She just the other day did like a Martha Stewart Weddings Facebook Live talk about her wedding. So I think it's still on.
It's still
Not damn. I hope she's getting married, but your idea.
And I'm interested to see what happens with Sonja and Dorinda that she gets so upset where she almost walks off stage.
My queen, Sonja. I love her.
Yes.
And yeah, that's very upsetting to me. And I think they're going to ask Bethenny, why did you do this on camera? Which I couldn't understand why she would, but now that I've thought about it, I think she's going to say, because LuAnn's a liar, and if I did it off camera, she would twist my words and whatever. So I had to do it on camera for evidence.
That's really good. All right, Fern, where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Fern Ronay, or my website, fernronay.com.
This is Lyndsey here. You guys can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Lyndsey Wegner, or my blog, lyndsey.blogspot.com.
And you guys can tweet me at Megan Stecher. It's MEGANSTECHER on Instagram and Snapchat at the same name.
Nice. And you can find me on Twitter at Ashley Daniels, and Instagram is Miss Ashley Daniels. And thank you so much for once again hanging out with us. We only have one more time with you guys until next season, which is sad, but we love you guys so much. So tweet us, let us know what you thought. We'll see you next week. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.